Be prepared, because something profound has already shifted, even if you haven't fully noticed it yet. The test you feared most is behind you, and October 6th's Saturn-Moon conjunction serves as the moment of realization, the unveiling of your results. This is not another trial of endurance or pain. This is the cosmic acknowledgement that you have already endured what others could not. It's the stamp of approval from the universe, the quiet signature declaring that the hardest chapter has closed. Saturn, known as the Great Examiner, never rewards through ease. Its gifts come disguised as survival, its blessings wrapped in scars. Every sleepless night, every heartbreak, every disappointment was a question in disguise, and your perseverance became the answer. The moon's presence presses this truth deep into your emotional body, marking this conjunction not as punishment but as proof. You've been reshaped by fire, and the cosmos now recognizes that strength. The chosen ones, those who've walked through isolation and confusion, often believed their separation was punishment. But this solitude was intentional. You were never meant to blend in. You were meant to break away. The disconnection you felt, the inability to fit in, the loneliness in crowded rooms, the frustration when others couldn't see your vision, those were signs of distinction, not deficiency. This Saturn-Moon energy validates that truth. Being set apart was not rejection, it was refinement. The constant tests, the silent stretches of doubt, were forging something that conformity could never produce. Now, as this conjunction reaches its peak, Saturn begins to reposition rather than test. The emotional endurance you cultivated is being weaponized into spiritual power. You are stepping into a framework where weakness no longer fits, where every scar becomes strategy and every wound transforms into wisdom. Look back on the chaos of recent months. The world grew harder, more cynical and colder. Many closed their minds, retreating into bitterness. But if you stayed open, curious, compassionate, still willing to learn despite exhaustion, then you've already proven yourself. Saturn rewards flexibility, not stubbornness. It admires those who bend without breaking. That openness you preserved amid chaos is the real mark of wisdom. It's not about knowing everything, it's about staying teachable when everything around you screams to shut down. As the moon amplifies this alignment, you'll begin to see that what once made you feel vulnerable, your sensitivity, your willingness to question, was actually your greatest strength. Staying open wasn't weakness, it was preparation. That inner openness now becomes your channel for divine synchronization. A subtle but powerful shift happens when you stop explaining yourself to the world. Maybe you've already noticed it. The urge to defend your vision or prove your worth is disappearing. You no longer crave applause or validation. Saturn watches for this moment because that's when your real maturity emerges. When you no longer chase approval, you begin to attract authentic recognition. The paradox is beautiful. The moment you stop begging for acceptance, you start magnetizing respect. That silence when applause fades is your graduation moment. You no longer need to perform to be seen. You've stopped lowering your voice to make others comfortable. You've released the mask that kept you palatable. And now, your light shines in its rawest, purest form. Saturn's reward is never the crowd's praise. It has the strength to stand when the crowd turns away. Another transformation that marks your readiness is your changing relationship with chaos. Think about how once you might have been drawn to drama, to emotional storms, to arguments that made you feel alive. Now those same things feel heavy, exhausting, meaningless. That's not apathy, that's evolution. Saturn's test was not about resisting chaos when life was calm. It was about seeing through it when it was loud, seductive, and endless. You didn't just avoid the storm, you lost your appetite for it entirely. That loss of interest in negativity, in gossip, in outrage, is one of the clearest signs you've graduated from the old cycles. The world around you will keep spinning in noise, but you're no longer tethered to it. Peace has stopped feeling boring. It's become your compass. This marks the transition from survival mode to leadership energy. Those who no longer feed off chaos are the ones chosen to guide others through it. Saturn tests you with your old temptations. Once you no longer respond, you pass. There's another quiet hallmark of transformation: the stillness in your mind. For so long, overthinking was your shield. You believed that by predicting every outcome, you could protect yourself. You lived the pain twice, once in fear, once in reality. But somewhere along the way, the loops stopped. The endless analysis began to fade. At first, that silence felt suspicious, almost like emptiness. But it's not emptiness, it's freedom. This is the real sign that the exam is over. The quiet in your thoughts is Saturn's proof of completion. Overthinking was the mind's way of saying it didn't trust life. The calm that's replaced it means trust has finally been restored. Now, instead of strategizing every move, you feel subtle guidance, a sense of timing, a whisper that tells you where to go. You begin to experience divine coordination. When you stop fighting the flow starts carrying you. This is where the magic begins to reveal itself. You start noticing the strange timing of events, near misses, lucky breaks, perfect synchronicities. You reach out at the exact right moment. You arrive late only to avoid trouble. To the untrained eye, it looks like coincidence. But this is the hidden rhythm of alignment. Saturn doesn't give trophies. It gives timing. It syncs your internal clock to the cosmic one. Suddenly, delays turn into protection, setbacks become redirections, and accidents transform into orchestrations. The universe stops feeling random. It starts feeling responsive. You no longer stumble through chaos. You move in rhythm with divine timing. These alignments are Saturn's way of confirming you passed. You are no longer living by chance. You are co-creating with the current. October 6th's conjunction is the final lock on the door of your old life. What's ending now is permanent. The cycles you kept repeating, those karmic loops of betrayal, scarcity, or emotional pain, are being sealed shut. Saturn closes doors that can never reopen, and while that may feel like loss, it's liberation. The void you might feel afterward is not emptiness. It's space for something new. People may try to pull you back into old patterns, but those connections will no longer have power. The test now is whether you'll mourn the past or honor the freedom you've earned. Once Saturn seals a lesson, even memory begins to fade. The old triggers lose their grip, the emotional loops collapse, and in their place comes terrifying freedom, the kind that demands creation instead of repetition. This conjunction is not a reward for suffering, it's the initiation of purpose. The trials were never meant to break you, they were meant to reforge you. Each pain extracted strength, patience, and wisdom that were buried deep inside. Saturn tests with fire, not comfort, and you've emerged tempered, sharper, more certain. What's next isn't rest, it's responsibility. You're no longer being examined, you're being entrusted. The resilience you earned becomes the foundation for what comes next. You'll notice opportunities begin to align with your strength rather than your wounds. What once drained you will now seek your guidance. This is the moment when the chosen ones step into their calling, not because they escaped suffering, but because they mastered it. October 6th marks not the end of a test, but the beginning of an oath. You are no longer a student of endurance. You are a vessel of stability. The universe now entrusts you to hold what others cannot, to stay grounded as the collective energy shifts. You didn't survive to return to normal. You survived to build what normal could never contain. Saturn doesn't crown with gold, it crowns with gravity. The more grounded you become, the more the universe can build upon you. This conjunction is your confirmation that survival has transformed into sovereignty. You've crossed the threshold, and what lies ahead will not test your strength. It will require it. You are no longer being shaped by the storm. You are becoming the stillness that outlasts it.